All right, guys,
Ah,
welcome to Bite Me, Season 1, Episode 46, The Truth About Women Not Having Room to Exist with SauceBoss333. Not too long ago, I had a full-on mental breakdown in the parking lot of a TJ Maxx. My partner and I had been camping not too far from our city, and I expressed to him the importance of needing to go to town for a very specific bra that I knew the department store carried and that only had a limited quantity. If you're a woman, you know the importance of a good, comfortable bra that you buy in bulk because you will never see it again. I don't remember the chain of events that led to it, but in a nutshell, I felt some sort of negative opinion he had about the event, and the waterworks ensued. And I screamed, can women just fucking have any room to exist in this world? And truthfully, it wasn't him personally, but rather just the constant little things making us to feel like we're an inconvenience as women. We can't have an opinion without a man saying, well, actually, we can't be a mother without being called lazy or shamed into feeling guilty. We can't go to work without being spoken over or pushed aside. And we can't simply live our lives without fear of judgment. The mental toll is exhausting, and I know you all feel it too. That's why I've invited someone who is just as pissed off about it today as I am, SauceBoss333, aka Carrie. Carrie, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself?
hi. So my name's Carrie, and weirdly enough, I met Brooke here on TikTok. um, I'm a veteran. I'm a parent. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a small business owner. And yeah, men just kind of fucking suck.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You and I
Yep,
hate men with the same fervence, I feel, which is why I felt that you were perfect for this episode. There's no
I
holds
do what
barred.
I can.
It sounds like, and Carrie and I were talking a little bit before the episode started that, you've had some pretty jaded experiences with men like me, and that our eyes are open to that now. And when we're so brash about what we say on TikTok, that it's just we have had enough and we're ready to tell the world because we're sick of not having room to exist. So, on that note, when was the first time in your life that you realized women have so many more obstacles to face than men, and how did it make you feel?
Oh gosh. I probably about 6 or 7 years old when I started to realize that the expectations for me just being born with a vagina was a completely different standard to how my friends were treated, to how my dad was treated.
Yeah.
And, at that age, how do you say that? You can't articulate a thought like that. So what do? You just start dressing like a boy. You start playing with boys. You just start hanging out to try to fit into where you feel like would be the best place for you. When really, I think inherently, I thought that if I was able to mesh enough with that, I would just find more opportunities. That doesn't
Yeah.
work. That
Not
does not
always.
work.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you say then that you sort of grew up with this notion that, like, I just have to not say how I'm feeling because I don't know how to articulate it, so I'm just going to show that outwardly? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was no way to express that I am okay with being a girl, but I don't want to be a girl in this world because
yeah.
what possible power could I hold? Like growing up, and especially with our generation, growing up being told that you can do whatever you want while still being held to a weird 1950s-ish standard when it comes to women was bizarre and incomprehensible to any young woman at that time. I think that's one of the reasons a lot of us are coming out with unique sexual identities at this point as well, because
Yeah.
you were trying to fit that standard for so long. Now that you're an adult, you're just like, no, I'm not gonna keep making myself feel crappy about this anymore. And especially when it comes to the realm of comparing ourselves with men, it we
I think
haven't had the freedom to do
and it
it.
sounds yeah, and it sounds like we have very good role models based on what you and I commiserated over with our mothers too.
That's the other part of the coin there is the internalized misogyny, where regardless of whether or not you knew the standard, it was set there to keep you from doing things that would make you seem unfeminine or unappealing. Because regardless of what year it was, if you were not headed towards getting married, what was wrong with you?
Yeah, you're just biding your time until you find a
Yeah,
man.
you don't want, oh, you have a career, good. It's
Yeah.
yeah. And that standardization still exists today. Like we deal with it on social media constantly, where it's just like, what do you
Constantly.
do? And women either go get in the kitchen or go get a job, or why don't you go take care of your kids? Guys, pick a lane.
constantly scrutinized just for living our lives, which really we're living
Yeah.
no differently than men themselves are living. And
Yeah.
it comes from, and I'm sad to say this, but really all walks of life men to some degree. Like
Absolutely.
it is primarily white men, but I've noticed just men across
Yeah.
the board. You know, there's a lot of times people say, well, you're not a minority, you're not oppressed, you don't know. But I would say that women know. I mean, obviously, we don't know the struggles of a black woman or an
The
indigenous,
struggles are different, of
but we know the
course.
struggles
Yeah.
of a woman.
And yeah, like the recognition of that is important, of course, because we're
Yeah,
not going to be able to empathize on the same level, but it's there. Like,
yeah.
and I lost my train of thought there for a minute.
That'll happen in
Mm,
Denver, Colorado sometimes.
I know. No, it, I mean, just to, when you start breaking down the basic, just our basic day to day and the things that we have to deal with, when I started explaining that one to John, because I started just getting angrier and angrier and angrier about his random dismissal. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a joke. It's just this. It's just that. I started to just be like, all right, let me explain misogyny to you. Let me explain you, or let me explain to you rather, what objectification feels like on a daily basis, because this is what we deal with constantly.
Yeah.
There isn't a quiet space for women. I mean, honestly, I sympathize more with black women in this instance, because there is no fucking quiet space for them. And that kills me to watch their space constantly be invaded in that way. But we see a lot of it too as women in general. Men just feel like they can just come on in, say whatever, do whatever.
Yeah.
It's 2021. The objectification never stops.
It's got to stop sometime. I mean, what would you say
Oh,
is the most frustrating thing about being a woman? And what do you wish? I mean, you talk about talking to your partner about it. What do you wish that men knew in order to empathize and put themselves in our shoes?
that's a tricky one for one thing in particular, because our experience is it's so, there's just so many sides to our experience and how we experience oppression and how we are treated on a day. I mean, I guess one of the best examples is probably childbirth. I would love for men to
Right.
experience the full term of pregnancy and birth, because people talk about it like, one, it's a disease, which is hilarious, and then the other is just the complete discounting of the emotional damage, the emotional trauma that you go through, not even physically birthing a human but growing that human, and how
Yeah.
much that can just fuck you up. That can just
Being being a mother is sacrifice. It
out
is.
100%.
Just like
100%.
to live is to suffer, to be a mother is to sacrifice. I mean, I love my children. I'm sure you love yours as well. If I
So
could
much.
and be told, you know, I mean, like growing up in the Midwest, that is the norm. It's just the rule.
Mhm.
You grow up, you get married, you have kids. I didn't know back then that there were other options like I do now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's a hard
Yeah.
thing.
And it's that weird generational gap too. That expectation just has not been extinguished yet, and it comes a lot from this white supremacy bullshit, this patriarchal bullshit, the way that our systems have been set up for so long. Nobody's willing to look at any of this, because who wants to take the blame for oppressing people? Not white guys.
Yeah. I
No, man.
actually say that we stop having children altogether and then they'll really see the
Yes,
value. You can, because women
seriously.
can have a baby together if there's sperm involved, but men, they can't do anything without our womb. You know, that's
We
just,
don't even need sperm. We figured out how to do it with bone marrow, man. We don't
yeah.
need men anymore. Like,
What?
that's the thing, is their
Wait,
days are numbered and they don't even know it.
whoa. This is news to me. What are you
Hmm.
talking? We can get pregnant with
Hmm.
bone, bitch. No, we
It's
can't.
wild. It's
Tell us.
wild.
What are you talking about?
I read an article. I would have to look that shit up to look at it again, but I was
Yeah.
looking at a random scientific article the other day, and it's, yeah, like we have definitely found some ways to bypass the whole sperm situation altogether. And
Wow.
the beautiful part about it is that you're using female bits, so they always come out girls.
I love it. I've never been so more in love with an idea in my life as I am with
The
that one.
future is women. It's
It
it's
is. Men are responsible
Whew.
for all the wars in the world. They really are. I mean, you
I
and
was
I both hate men. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're what?
Oh no, I was telling another TikTok friend today. It was cracking me up because she had just watched the most recent episode of The Handmaid's Tale, that season finale, and I was just like,
Yeah.
bet you're going to be able to trace this women's revolution back to the release date of that episode, and us going,
Oh,
hmm, just
we could maybe do that.
Irene up in this bitch,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. For real. Yeah, no. Oh, The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, like, there's people I've talked to who can't watch it because they feel it would be triggering. And it's triggering for me to watch too, but it's also very empowering. And my
it's
daughter's name is
insightful.
actually June, and I love that
Yeah,
because I didn't name her after June Osborne, but I think it's cool that that's how it turned out. She's named after June Carter Cash, but yeah, June
that's nice
Osborne
though.
angry. I hope every woman gets June Osborne angry. That's what
It's
needs
coming.
to happen.
There's
That's what
yeah, there's not much longer and not much more to hold us back the way things are going right now.
yeah.
It's yeah.
I mean, we both hate men. We know a lot of women who hate men for good reason. Even the ones who like them really hate them. And do you ever see there being peace? Like, what would it take? Or would we just be better without men completely and not be coexisting with them?
So I've heard a couple of takes on this, and I like how do I word so there's a TikTok creator, specifically, I think her perspective is her handle or whatever, and she had an interesting take on that where it was just like you need to have empathy to teach feminism. You need to have empathy for men's feelings to a certain point because we're not trying to punch down and blah 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 blah. And I was like, I'm about that, and being a human and being a decent human being who is kind most of the time, and especially where I can be. But if men continue to believe that they have the right to speak on every single topic that there is available to speak on just
Yeah.
because it's there, I cannot continue to regard their feelings as if they are people because they've already dismissed me,
Yeah.
and I brought this up about the conversation with abortion because I was telling John, I'm like, I'm so sick of hearing about it. I'm so sick of men getting on and making videos, having a discussion about the morality, which don't even get me started, but
People
the
get mad when
morality
I
of
say that.
medical
Like,
treatment.
white men, you get mad. They get mad. Even gay white men or gay men in general. I'll say no uterus, no opinion, and they get mad about that. But that really is the truth. I don't make judgment
Yeah,
dick. You know.
seriously, I'm not
You,
up in your face trying to discourage you from circumcision. I'm not up in your face trying to tell you about prostate exams and checking for cancer. I'm not up in your ass actually doing any of these things. You need to stay up out of our body. Don't even talk about it anymore because it has nothing to do with you, period. And every single discussion, I don't care how pro-choice they are or how liberal or left they are, every single discussion there's tiny microaggressions in there that are dismissing women as people, as
yeah.
humans who have the right to make their own decisions, especially in regards to their own body. It's
Yeah. The
it's belittling.
hypocrisy of everything. Yeah, it's belittling and it's bullshit and like there's so many reasons. It's like there's so many
Yeah.
reasons. For one, you
Mm,
care about the fetus, not the baby, this love affair with the fetus and the baby, and then when it comes out, none of you fuckers want to help take care of it. For two, a
exactly.
remember like a few years ago, and I think viewers at home remember too, like there was like 10 years ago or something, they had a law set forth where we were having to get pap smears like every 6 months because our vaginas
Hmm.
are so dirty, but the men aren't having to do anything. Now I think it's every 3 years. But
Yeah.
I remember that when my daughter and my son were very young, and it was like, what? For what? Like who
And they were
made
worried about I
yeah,
think it was like HPV or cervical cancer or
yeah.
something to that effect, and they were just freaking out. Where it's just like, well, where would the bacteria, where would these things be coming from? Because we're not creating them. Like,
No, the vagina cleans itself, you know?
yeah,
Like,
and that's something that is so bizarre to me that so many people do not understand how a vagina works. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
you're going to make all these wild claims that you understand and and you're empathetic and you're on our side and this, that, and the other. Tell me about the pH of the vaginal canal. I want to know. I
This
want to
is
know about the anatomy, dude.
this
Tell
is
me
how
about
bad
the bits.
how bad it is like Biddy Buddha was on here a few episodes ago, and she and I were discussing how we didn't even know how our own vaginas worked until we were 18 when one of our friends fucking explained it to us. That's how bad it is in America. That's how bad it is. That instead of like tackling the sex talk with shame and fear, we should be tackling it with logic and science and explaining their bodies to them.
Oh my
And
God. I mean, if
totally
statistics show abstinence, like abstinence training does not work. It does not work. Like
teenagers have sex. Humans have sex.
they do.
That's just what
go
it is.
figure. It's a people-y thing that people do. Like
people eat, people sleep, people have sex. What's the fucking problem? Like, why is this such a big deal? It shouldn't be a big deal. It's just a body part. It's just a thing.
It's grouped into there with the whole women's problems and the lack of discussion about menstruation and the lack of talks with young men about how all of that works too, and how it's just like you need to be empathetic and aware of these situations because that's part of being a good human rather than just saying F girl stuff.
Yeah, guys, remember that. On that note, we're gonna take a quick break. Right back on Bite Me. All right. Hi, guys. Well, we're back with Bite Me. Welcome to season 1, episode 46. We're here with SauceBoss333 Carrie. So, on to our next question. Do you think that the American misogynistic mindset could ever be changed? Or are we on the brink of real life actual Handmaid's Tale? I mean, we talked about that a little.
It could be either or. At this point in time, we are rife for a takeover one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's part of the reason why I keep getting so pissed off with our political system at this point, because I can't say neither, because the Democrats aren't really aggressive that much at all. The Republicans are so aggressive that if they keep behaving the way that they do, if they keep pushing these policies through, then yeah, we're gonna get there.
I think a combination of things. Like, I think the pandemic, Trump being in office, and George Floyd, I think those 3 things prompted the revolution, because it's like, fucking enough's enough for women and minorities.
That's the thing. Well, people forget, like a real revolution is not going to be this giant, dramatized, beautiful, spectacular cinematic thing. We're in it right now. Like this is happening right now. We have too many people below the poverty level, too many people that aren't able to just function in their day to day.
Kind of civil war.
Yeah, it really, like, we just haven't seen a lot of violence yet, but that doesn't mean that people are getting shot in the street. We had over 500 some odd shootings this past weekend. These things are happening because people are feeling unstable. Our mental state in this country, nobody's okay right now, especially after the pandemic. Like, and then to see an entire year of public executions was just at
the hands of our own police, mostly. It's
we've had a lot of there's been a lot more exposure of the cracks where a lot of this stuff has just been hiding, and now that people are becoming more aware of what's going on, like, my only hope is that we act in time. But I mean, and they described it, I loved Margaret Atwood's book, but the show itself described that slow takeover so perfectly. It was ridiculous. It's frightening. Actually, I can definitely see why people wouldn't want to watch, especially if you've worked in government or with the DOJ or the Army or any form of the military whatsoever. It's stupid plausible in this country to watch those types of people who do exist, who do think this way, and they do have a network of people in political power. Absolutely, it's possible for them to do that. It's just a matter of time.
Too much power in too much of the wrong hands, and we're starting to see that, like Jeff Bezos or my own Governor Kristi Noem renting out the military for birthday parties. Like, that shit. You heard about that? Her sending them to the border, right? Just rent them out for a day to some billionaire, all of our troops. But
and it's and it just goes to show too, with this recent lawsuit with Trump, that you can bypass damn near any legal system in the United States if you have enough money to do it.
Yep. If you have enough money and the right people. And they say that Jeff Bezos, that he hired a bunch of government workers so that he could get those relations. And then I guess him and Bill Gates and some other damn people finagled a contract that's now in stipulation. I don't know what this fucking world is anymore. But
and like what's worse is we're seeing this corruption everywhere too. Like I would love to say that it's isolated to the United States, but unfortunately almost everybody in every developed nation around the world right now is seeing stuff like this happen in their governments. Like the UK, for instance, are dealing with almost the exact same
Yeah.
problem with the same types of people that we are. It's the Tories are just as fucking bad as the
Yeah.
Republicans, if not worse, because I mean, that's the birthplace.
Mm-hmm. That
That's
is.
those guys. They're
That's
professionals.
where, yeah, yeah, more white men. These damn white men. I have a theory that they get so angry and that they're so hostile because they're mad that they sunburn so easily, is what I think. I think that's
I think so
really.
too. It would bother me too, like on a really base level. Like I could, and the way they just get punchy, I could
Yeah,
imagine that just getting right under their skin real quick.
they need to normalize therapy in men.
Oh
That's
my
what
God.
needs to happen, you know?
Yeah, it's the toxicity. Like this is one of the things where I can understand having empathy for men because we do need to normalize that feelings are a human thing,
Yeah.
not a specific gender thing. But yeah, and I was always like the military is going to be the thing that makes that trendy. Nope, they tried.
Yeah,
They
because you were
tried
in.
to make it available. Yeah, like if you're in, they'll offer it for free for whatever you want, whenever you want. Like you can go, but you'll be hazed relentlessly for going and
Yeah.
trying to better yourself. And after a while, the more work you do on yourself, the more you realize that you're in a machine that you can't possibly ethically keep participating in.
And what kind
Unfortunately,
of documents
therapy,
are they really insuring, Like
that's the thing
family
is they're all
advocacy?
military too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a ex-military wife twice, and I went to family advocacy when I was raped and things like that, and they have a vested interest in their investment,
Yeah,
which if you're not in the military isn't you, or if you're planning on
yeah.
getting out, or if you have any sort of anti thoughts about them, is going to be totally shut down. So, is what I got. Maybe you had a different experience.
Oh no, it's bad. And especially when you're in the military as a woman. Like there are two expectations when you go in. Either you are going to do the absolute brunt work to get your way to the top. Like really, really, really work hard, harder than anybody will around you, period. Or you can fuck your way to the top. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Those are your
I saw
two
a lot
options.
of that too. Saw a lot of
Yeah,
that.
you're either screwed one way or another. I would love to say that it's gotten better in the last 10 years as they started to open up more positions for women, but the men don't want that. And the
Yeah.
majority of men that go into the military already have some debilitating psychological issues that they're not willing to deal with. So,
Right. Like
I
some
mean,
of
let's
them
be
go in because
honest.
that was their only option, you
Yeah.
know. Some of
And
the
let's be honest,
intensive level.
if you're aspiring, yeah, like if you're aspiring to go into the military, and especially within the last 15 years, you're going in because you think that you're about to get a license to shoot people,
Yeah.
probably brown people.
Yep.
So
I couldn't even say it better than that.
it
That's a lot to
was
unpack.
it
I
was
mean,
pretty disgusting. Like just being in the military as a woman, I honestly like just as a message, I would not recommend going into the military as a woman. It is especially the army because
yeah,
it is brutal what they will
that's
do to you.
that seems to be the resounding theme in other former female veterans that I have
Yeah.
spoken with. So like, let's pretend that you and I were a dude for a day. What do you do? I'll tell you mine. My fantasy, if I was a dude for a day, I would love to pee on a tree. I'd love to whip it out and pee on a
I
tree.
feel you there. Ah, the convenience.
Oh my God. Just peeing on
It's
a
like,
tree.
man, I get envious of John every time he's able to do that too. He's like, pull over. I'm just gonna pee really quick. I'm like,
There's no
we have to
squatting,
like,
getting
yeah,
wet.
like I have to go to a place, like wiping and fuck the
Everything.
fuck. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
unfair.
No, like
Oh gosh.
I think I'd go get a girlfriend and I'd treat her real nice all day and I'd tell her how smart she was. Not that she would need my validation, but like, I would be like just
Yeah. No, I get
reassuring
that.
that you women are better and smarter than me in every way and I just exist. And thank you for letting me exist because you're a woman and another woman birthed me. I think that's what I would do for a day.
Proper for worshiping. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
you. I get
proper
you.
worship. Yeah.
I don't
What do you
know. I mean, in all honesty, I've just been feeling so rampagey the last couple of days. I think I would probably just go vigilante style, knowing that if I was going to be a dude for a day, I'd probably end up being a white dude, and I could just dole out some punishment.
Yeah, okay. On white dudes?
Hmm?
On other white dudes, just walk up and just hit you with
Yeah.
a dude. Yeah, that makes
Yeah. Really blatantly, like dress really casually, like polo shirt style, and
yeah,
like really nice white sneakers and stuff. Really just totally approachable dude,
yeah.
and
I'd
just
walk
start
around and
wrecking dudes
I
that
would
were
I
abusing women.
I would hope that I'd be a fat bald man and I would run
Nice.
around in a crop top and I would say, look, don't I look sexy today? And I would
So
tell
pretty.
other people how sexy they were. I don't know. I don't
That
know.
would also be good.
I mostly just want to pee on a tree though. I ultimately
I
don't
get
feel
that.
like men are good for a lot. So to be a man for a day maybe wouldn't be all that fulfilling because what do they
That
really
would be
do?
the thing. Yeah, at the end of the day, like even doing it vigilante style, I still feel like I would be left feeling unfulfilled because I wasn't a woman kicking these guys' asses, but I did get to pee on a tree.
Yep, there you have it, folks. We all want to
That's
pee on a
all.
tree. I want to thank Carrie SauceBoss333 for being here today and taking time to talk with us. Carrie, what do you have going on in your life that you'd like to tell us about? Anything you want to plug?
Oh gosh. Well, I have this fabulous Etsy. I
She does.
crochet
I
like
checked
some
it
kind
out
of
before the
maniac.
episode. It's pretty great. She
Yeah,
crochets
I
nice.
make and I make cat toys, and they are cute,
Wow.
and you should check them out. But it's
Okay.
under Borealis333. Link is in my TikTok under SauceBoss333. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out after this. For more information on modern misogyny, you can visit mysocialscience.com/blog and search misogyny. And for ways to promote women's equality, you can go to www.unwomen.org. As always, check me out on the Truth for Groomer website and Twitter and Insta. We'll see you guys next time on Bite Me.